Jake Miller and Ben Carter, bound by a shared dream of heroism, enlisted together, ready to face any challenge for their country. They went through boot camp together, surviving the grueling drills, the exhaustion, and the bonds of brotherhood that formed between them and their unit. By the time they were deployed to Iran, they were battle-ready, but nothing could have truly prepared them for the realities of war. The desert heat was unbearable, and the tension in the air never let up. Their unit was tasked with dangerous missions, patrols, clearing villages, securing outposts. Every day felt like borrowed time, but through it all, Jake and Ben kept each other grounded. One day, they were sent on a mission to secure a village rumored to be harboring insurgents. As they moved in, the air was thick with the sense that something wasn't right. Then, without warning, gunfire erupted from all sides. They were ambushed. "We're surrounded!" Ben shouted, his voice barely cutting through the chaos. "We hold the line, Ben. We can't let them overrun us." Jake gritted his teeth, scanning the area as bullets ricocheted off the stone. Before they could react, a grenade landed just feet from them. Without hesitation, Ben shoved Jake out of the way, throwing himself on top of the grenade. The explosion shook the ground, and when the dust settled, Jake found himself on the ground, dazed. His ears rang, and for a moment all he could see was smoke. But then he saw Ben, lying still, blood pouring from his body. "Ben!" Jake crawled to his side, his hands trembling as he cradled his friend. No, stay with me, man." Ben's eyes flickered open, barely hanging on. "Take care of my family." His voice was weak, but his meaning was clear. And then, Ben was gone. The war raged on, but Jake's fight changed that day. He returned home after the war, but a part of him had stayed behind in that desert with Ben. He was haunted by the memory of his best friend's sacrifice, the image of Ben lying in the dirt, his final breath, a promise Jake wasn't sure he could keep. Back in Kansas, Jake stood at the front door of Ben's home. He hadn't been able to bring himself to come sooner. Inside were Ben's wife, Sarah, and their two kids, Emma and Luke. When Sarah opened the door, her eyes were red, her face drawn with grief.
"You don't have to do this, Jake. You've been through enough."
"I promised Ben I'd take care of you, and I will, whatever you need." Over the months that followed, Jake became a fixture in their lives. He helped Sarah with the kids, with the house, with anything she needed. But every time he saw Emma and Luke, it was like seeing Ben's face. The guilt never left him. He couldn't escape the feeling that it should have been him who died that day, not Ben. One evening after the kids were in bed, Sarah sat next to Jake on the porch. The sun had dipped below the horizon, leaving the sky tinged with orange and pink.
"Ben knew you'd take care of us, Jake. That's why he did what he did. He trusted you."
Jake stared at the ground, his jaw clenched. "I'm not the hero, Sarah, he was. He gave his life to save me. I don't know how to live with that."
You're honoring his memory, Jake. That's what matters.
Late at night, when the house was quiet and the world seemed still, Jake would sit on the porch, staring up at the stars. "Why did it have to be you, Ben?" he would whisper into the night, his only answer the silence of the Kansas sky. But no matter how hard it was, Jake kept his promise. He couldn't bring Ben back, but he could make sure his family was cared for. That was his mission now, and in that, he found a sense of purpose, even if the scars of war never fully healed.